Hello and welcome. So we're just going to be simplifying the following expression. Now, reminder to add two radicals, you need the same index and the same radicand in order to add two radicals together. Now, the same index is the number in that little check mark area. If there's no number stated, you get to assume that's a 2 there, right? Now, here we have all the same indices, so that is not a worry of ours. The thing that we do need to worry about is same radicand. That's the stuff in the radical. Now, none of those are the same. So you might be thinking, oh, look, none of these add together, and then you call it a day. But you're wrong, wink, wink, because we can simplify some of these radicals, right? So let's simplify it down, see where we end up, and if they're the same after simplification, we add them. If they're not, then we are done. So I'll start with 98. I'll kind of write it down below since I'll have a little more space down there. Okay, so 98. First off, if you have no idea what goes into 98, you can always try 2. It's an even number, so 2 works. So 2 and 49. 49 is a perfect square of 7, right? Now, remember, you're looking for index-sized groups of the same number. Our index is 2, so I'm looking for pairs of the same number. My pair here is 7. So if a 7 gets to come outside, and anything that doesn't form a pair, which is that 2, gets to come down and stays inside the radical. All right, first one, done. Simplified. All right, next one, 12, that's at least even, so 2 and 6, which is 2 and 3, and oh look, a pair of 2s, which means a 2 comes out, and then what doesn't have a pair, which is our 3, stays behind, right? Now there is something for us to consider here, is that in front of that radical was a negative 13, which means that my 2 has to interact with that 13. Now keep in mind, we're breaking it down by multiplication and division, which means that multiplication is what we're going to be doing as we bring it out. So that means my negative 13 multiplies the 2 that I bring out. So just kind of as a heads up. So always multiply it to anything you bring out or anything that remains. Always multiply. All right, 200. Oh no, it's a big number. You're fine. At least pull out a 2. 2 and 100, right? If you can recognize that 100 is a perfect square of 10 to make your life a little faster, go for it, right? 10 can break down, but I'm looking for pairs of the same number, which means I can just pull out the 10 as it is, right? But we also have an 8 in front, so it's going to multiply, and then anything that I can't break down any further and don't have pairs of gets to come outside. Gets to stay behind. It doesn't get to come outside. All right, and there we go. Now everything's simplified, and we'll notice that now we have 2 radicals that can combine, right? They both have an index of 2 as well as a radicand of 2, which tells me those can go together. Now, let's combine this really quick. 8 times 10 is 80, right? That is a 80 right there. So 80 plus 7 is 87, square root of 2, because the 2 inside the radical will never change when I add the outsides. All right, and then we have our negative 13 times 2, so negative 26 root 3. And because the 2 and 3 are different radicands, they do not combine, and we just have to write them separate. So 87 root 2 minus 26 root 3 is my final answer. Thanks for watching.